Today's podcast is sponsored by MANSCAPED. Use our promo code EPW Show, and you guys will be able to get 20% off and free delivery on your next MANSCAPED order. So, what are you waiting for? Get ready to try out that Lawnmower 4.0 and use our promo code to save a couple bucks. And we are also sponsored today by PowerSlam TV. If you guys use the promo code EPW Show, you guys can get 1 free month of independent pro wrestling on us. Try out powerslam.tv and let us know what you think using our promo code EPW Show. And with all that being said, we are getting ready to start off the show where we will be talking about WWE 2K22 and everything surrounding it. So get ready to buckle in and enjoy.
Everything pro wrestling, they can never be you. Listen to the podcast here for the people. The best show that's here, so listen in. Let the knowledge begin. The opinion and the lesson. Yes, everyday pro wrestling, they can never be you.
What's good, everybody? How are you guys doing tonight? We are here to do the podcast. Right now, it is just me. You never know who could pop up or show up, though, at the last second here. But we are talking WWE 2K22. I thought tonight would be a good night just to address everything that is happening with the game. Appreciate you guys. And if you haven't been here, you guys aren't used to the intro. It's welcome to Everything Pro Wrestling. Everything Pro Wrestling is a show by the fans, for the fans. And I'm your host, Conrad Cushman, here to talk about WWE 2K22. Now, a lot of you guys have known, if you've been around for a while, I'm a huge video game fan. And I like talking the wrestling video games. It was actually how I got my original start on doing any type of YouTube videos. If you guys can find some of them, you'll know. You'll understand that I have a passion for this. I love it. It's just something great that I've always had fun with, whether it's from running leagues. Shout out to the boys in XGW. Hold it down, brothers. To just enjoying the games. It's kind of a great getaway or escape for what we do. It's fun. It's fun. That's what it's supposed to be. But in recent times, all of these video games have just, I don't know, they've kind of left you in a weird feeling. We're going to talk about all that and what surrounds it today. So got to show some love to the peeps in the chat. And I know there's some big wrestling video game fans in here. We've got original Biggie Obi-Wan saying, what's up? Good evening, chat, and everything pro wrestling. What's up, Obi-Wan? Ace is in the house saying, what's up? Throwing up the too sweet. Rob's here. He said, year. What's good, Rob? Connor also in the house. Hey, I like the new studio. I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate it. And Ace said same. Okay. Yeah, man. If you guys are in here, make sure you guys are tweeting the link out, sending it out to people. I'm going to put the whole audio version of the podcast up as well once it's time for us to get started with everything. But the WWE series is something, like I said, I've loved. I couldn't even, the first game that I ever had, I remember had Hulk Hogan on the front. It was for Nintendo. Yeah, it was just a very different game. So we've come so far, and I'm saying all of this to say that there's going to be some real complaints that I have that's been going on with the whole series for a long time. And I think it's fair criticism for some of it, and other parts of it, I'm going to kind of stick up for them. So this should be fairly interesting for everybody to come on in, give their thoughts, and I'll try to go through and read some of it, but I've got a lot to talk about when it comes to this. So without further ado, let's get into this. Overall, how did we get to where we are today with 2K22? And I really want to focus in on the 2K part of the series. We all know THQ had it before. THQ was gone. We've heard the stories of what has happened. Brian Williams, we have the entire series after all of this. That should be popping up eventually in this video somewhere, even if it's at the end or the beginning. You guys will get to see some of that. So please just continue to stay tuned to all of this. If you want real in-depth discussion, go watch the whole series with Brian Williams. We did his entire time while working for WWE Games. Great series. Shout out to my man B. Dude, I was excited when it was first announced that 2K was getting the series. I believe it was during the time of WWE 13. Someone can correct me. And thanks, Obi-Wan. Just put the whole playlist in there. Thank you, Biggie. The entire series was announced like during 2K13. I can't remember. They did something where it became like 2K13 when they re-released it. A bunch of hoopla. Basically, THQ made that game. And THQ had already made 2K14 where we were at that time. Really dope. Cool. I get it. They were a great video game maker, Ukes and THQ. They had everything set up. We got that great WrestleMania mode. The 2K name was on. I'm like, dude, if this is the beginning of what we're going to get, this is going to be great, right? Well, congratulations, son. You played yourself, because that is not exactly how everything went down. It was more a case of being let down than anything else. And what do I mean by that? The series took kind of a bad turn right from the beginning. So THQ made 2K14. 2K takes over now. Visual Concepts is kind of in there, sort of, not really. They brought over some of the guys who worked on the previous games. Marcus Stevenson, Brian Williams was over there, Corey Ledesma. They had a bunch of people. Unfortunately, things did not work out, and some of the people were released. And I was shocked by this because they were main people who were focused. They knew the series, they knew what was going on, and they were let go. And it was a sad day, I think, for a lot of it. And 2K15 comes out, it's gutted. The game is gutted. We don't have anything in it from the get-go. And I'm telling you guys all of this to talk about what happened. What happened with all of this. Damn it, dude. These guys basically gutted what was a great game, and I feel like they never, ever, ever recovered from it. And I was trying not to punch the desk here while I was saying that, but they never recovered from it. It was never like, you know what? This is gonna be all right. You always had hope and habit. It's kind of like my feeling when watching Monday Night Raw these days. And I'm not saying that to be funny. It's sometimes out of hope and habit that you're watching because you hope that it gets better and you're watching out of habit, right? And we get through all of this and they just don't grasp it. 2K16, they put Austin on the cover. You're like, cool. They added a couple things. They did enough just to keep you interested, right? Then you get something else. Then you get to the next game, and it's 17. Meh, okay, you added a few things. You're still not giving us what we want. More people. Brian Williams is left by this point. He's over at Ukes now, so he's still working on the game, but he's indirectly working on the game. He's not part of the 2K team. And things aren't working. We get to 18. 18 was okay. It was like you're halfway there. It's kind of like giving a person who's blindfolded directions. Like, okay, take 2 steps to the left. Okay, now take 1 step forward, and they're just missing it. You're like, you're so close. And 2K19 was the game finally where we were like, you know what? This ain't bad. This ain't bad. We got something here. We're doing good things. And then what happens? What happens? This monstrosity in front of you guys now that I just put up. 2K20 happens. I had planned on covering 2K20. If you go back in the Everything Pro Wrestling show history, you will see that I really, really, really was trying to cover it once they started making announcements for the game. Like they did the trailer drop and everything else. And once they unveiled all the information with Xavier Woods, I knew we were in trouble. It was small. They didn't have a lot to say. It was not the best. I was let down. I was disappointed by a lot of this, and I just damn. You want something to be great and you just know it's not. And even the YouTube community just left reviews that were just so not inspiring. They're not going to lie to you. You could just see it on their faces. You could hear it in their voices. They went to the play test and they were like, they said what was good and what happened when they played it, but everybody, it sounded like horrible experiences. The game, we see the glitches. I only put 2 of them up here, but these glitches are pretty bad. And these are the things that basically saddled the entire game throughout that process. And that is what made me not play it. To this day, I have not played WWE 2K20. Why is that? It sucked. Like, I knew it was going to suck, and I refused to play it because I don't want 2K to think this is okay. I know it's a different regime. I know it's not all Lionel Jinks' fault. I see people who say that type of stuff, and I'm like, no, you're wrong. That it's not Lionel Jinks' fault. It's not anybody who's new to the team's fault. It's not our fault. It's a mess. It's a complete mess of everything that happened, and I think many things came to a head. Number one, for 2K20, Ukes was gone. Ukes with Brian Williams and that incredible team who had worked with this game for years. You got rid of them. Come on, bro. We can't have that stuff. We can't do that. We can't do that. And it just sucked. It absolutely hurt, man, to see that. And I don't think they understood the severity of what had happened and what they did to the series. This game was being refunded, prices slashed on the game because they knew it was bad. They put Roman Reigns and Becky on it probably to try to sell this. You can't sell this, bro. It just didn't work. And that left people clamoring for more. So what happens? New regime is put in. They were like, this is unacceptable. You got to go. So a bunch of people left. We were hearing rumors, people coming in, people going out. And shout out to Justin Leeper. He was one of the first people to start revealing some of this stuff. And damn, like it sounded bad, bro. It sounded really, really bad. And all of the stuff he said basically came to fruition, whether they wanted it to or not. And we've just found out a bunch of things moving forward. So let's talk about some of the good things within this. And then I'll get to some comments that are in here. The good things that came from this were Patrick Gilmore is put in charge. Patrick Gilmore had worked on several other video games before. I believe the great Aladdin game that's on Sega Genesis. He took a great part of that. And I like it. Cool. All for it. And he came in and they put out some surveys with all of this. And I'm going to pull up one of the surveys. Very hard to see, but it's covering my face right now. Shout out to that Statue of Liberty right there, too. We have what the community requested to be in the game. Now, I'm going to tell you guys something. I learned this from my man, Brian Mazik. Brian Mazik, smart man. He's been in the video game world for a long time. Shout out to Mazik. If you are going to put in a mode into a game or you're going to put out a survey for fans, you are not going to tease something that the fans say they want and then not put it in. Because if you do that, it's a bad, bad mistake. And I remember listening to one of the YouTubers' videos, and they kept asking, why wasn't GM mode in? Why wasn't GM mode in? And the community manager at the time said that we didn't have any information like that. Bruh, you guys use those old, sad-ass forums, the forums that you write on, and they want to get rid of people, and they if you break one little rule, they're ready to, mods, get the band hammer out. Those same forums were flooded with good ideas, not 1 year, but for many years. And they said we didn't have the feedback for GM mode. We didn't have the feedback, bro. You had the feedback. Don't give me that trash. Don't give me that trash, bro. You had it in front of you and you chose not to listen. So Patrick came on board and he was very like open and communicating with us and doing different things. And it was a breath of fresh air. I like it. And we know a bunch of things are going to come from this. And I'm going to get into some of these requests that we had saw on there, because this, I'll put it back up. Maybe if somebody can read it, this is very small, but the top request number one here is GM mode. GM mode is everyone's favorite. People love it. People really, really, really love it. And they wanted it back. How is it going to be implemented? More on that later. But when we look at this, Patrick Gilmore said the fans have clearly spoken, and there was an overwhelming request for GM mode to be put back in. They recognize this. They know this. They've been teasing it's going to be back in. I don't have to front here. They've been teasing it. So when we get into all of this, there are other features, though, that were pretty high on this list. What were they? Create a story / story designer, reviving missing match types, including special guest referee. People want ongoing live updates, a focus on gameplay, custom music to be put back in, improvements to create a superstar, from the facials to the body creation tools, not locking a created superstar for content and parts, cross-platform community creations, and DLC with actual superstars instead of 2K originals. Because that 2K original shit, bruh, that was sad too. People wanted that creative stuff until they actually got it, and then it was, oh no, this isn't what we want. So those were some of the things. Now, some of the specific improvements, they did a Reddit AMA, and I remember a lot of people were getting information from this. They wanted to also take inspiration from previous games and put them into the series. Games like No Mercy, Here Comes the Pain, SmackDown vs. Raw 607. A lot of those games were mentioned. SmackDown vs. Raw 2011, a sleeper. A lot of people mentioned these great games. We mentioned the improvements to body types. They want heavyweights to have something like Keith Lee, Otis, Earthquake were the names mentioned. Create a superstar, the ability to hide appearance and attire parts while working on the face and body, character selection screens, and a new control scheme. 2K20 messed up the control scheme so bad. They were changing things just to have stuff on the box to say they did something. Come on. Come on. You can't just do that, bro. And I'm going back to the 2K20 stuff. Connor says, I haven't played a wrestling game since the disaster that was 2K20. Malik Murray said, I'm not going to lie, the game has potential, but they need DLC for 2K22. Maybe. Ethan, I'm here. You can start. I hope you were here when I started, brother. Chad says, what's up? He's watching me and the Masked Singer. Come on, bro. You know this is where the win is, man. Love the Brian Williams shows. He's so passionate. Yes, I would love to get Brian on, but Brian's busy, and I want him on once he can kind of talk about things. If he can't talk about certain things, I don't want to waste his time. I mean, I know you guys will ask about it even if he's on and we're talking wrestling, you know, and I don't want him to feel pressured into any situations with that. It was when CM Punk was on the cover. Thank you. Yeah, that was 13 then. Let me see here. 2K Wrestling treated like a wet food stamp. Yeah, I don't understand what happened. Tokyo said WWE 2K22 doesn't need DLC. Do roster updates like NBA and Madden. Tokyo, though, that's their bread and butter. People are so used to paying for it, and that's one of the main perspectives. We don't have I put it like this. Compared to other sports games, we don't have the exact science down. We can't just switch out uniforms and change things and change attires because there's so many people and so many different things. And in wrestling games, we have a lot of collision. I know Madden has tackling, but baseball games, they don't have a lot of, you know what I mean, collision and stuff. They can get away with that a little bit more. It's difficult. It's not as easy as most people would think. Hope and Habit sums it up perfectly. I got all them games up to 20 and I miss AKI, bro. You ain't the only one, brother. Ace says 2K19 is better. Visual Concepts goofed up with 20 big time. 2K20 was a failure. And guys, as people who love playing wrestling video games, it's hard to get you guys back into it. It's not something that's just like, oh, it's okay. We'll get back into it eventually. No, it's very important to keep your fan base happy. And I think they pissed a lot of people. Bro, listen, I bought almost I told you I've been playing games since Nintendo. I had In Your House, WrestleMania, the arcade game. I had a game just called Pro Wrestling. I played WCW versus the World. I played all of them. When my friends had Sega or Nintendo 64, I was in there, bro. It's just not the same. They failed us as a community. And I buy almost any wrestling game. I refuse to play WWE 2K20. Obi-Wan said, my videos leading up to 2K20 was bad. I was thinking to myself, yeah, it's going to be bad. And it was. Yep. Mazeek's on point as well. Of course, he is. Love Leaper. His reporting was on point. That's bull, bruh. Can you zoom? I can't zoom in, Obi-Wan, on that. Those screenshots are hard to find, and on all of them, you can't zoom in, unfortunately. I think they're screen grabs from when they had posted them on the forums. So I apologize. But I did read off the stuff for you guys so that way you can hear it. Got to get an update and get Discord like everyone else. Yeah, eventually. Eventually, that's got to happen. Because those forums are played, bro. They got to switch to something else. Give me good gameplay. Gameplay is what a lot of people want, man. I see a lot of people in here agreeing. KJ, what's going on? Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. 6 said, I bought 2K20 because I lost a bet earlier this year. Man, that's a rough bet to lose, bro. Rough bet. Plus, it was on sale for like $30 for the past 2. Shitty game, great deal. Yeah. You couldn't pay me to play that. I'm telling you, I'm dead serious too. Waste of time. But so a lot of you guys are probably wondering, well, if 2K20 sucks so bad, what happened with a lot of other things? Well, a game came out called Fire Pro World, and I absolutely fell in love with the Fire Pro series, and I think it's a really fun game. It's in 2D. It looks different, but it plays great. You can get your wrestling fix out of it. Another thing happened, 2K19. Now, a game that I said was so-so, and a question that I may ask for everyone in the chat, is 2K19 a really good wrestling game, or is it a game that's convenient for now? Please let me know once you guys are ready to answer. But here's what happened with 2K19. People still played it, and they began modding the game. Look at this. And when you start seeing things like this makes me wonder. And shout out to Smack Talks and SmackDown Hotel. These are where all these images are coming from and some of the information that I have for you guys today. So credit to them for where I took bits and pieces of the info. Look at Seth Rollins to the left. That's made by artists who do the game. And maybe it's not as easy as we think. I get it. And PC's a whole different world, a whole different beast than everything else. Look at this, though. Seth Rollins on the right side, made by a single player for PC. That looks pretty good, man. Pretty dope. And one thing that I've always wanted to ask, like the whole 2K and with NBA 2K, I'm a big fan of that series as well. I have to give a shout out to my man, the Czar. Czar was a YouTuber. Just like me, just like many of you, I assume in the chat. Why he was hired? Because the Czar has a mind for basketball. He played basketball in college. The dude gets basketball. He loves the plays, and he got hired to do that. WWE, why have we not contacted Viking Size Gamer? Why haven't we contacted Dre41? And I'm using these names specifically because there's a SWOT analysis kind of going on here, an opportunity that they missed out on. There are so many great call creators. I'm not even naming them all. Even on Xbox, I follow all of you guys, and I try to retweet your stuff once you put it out on to Twitter or the forums, wherever you're putting your stuff. I love it. They do great work. Can we hire them to work on these games? Especially people who are modding. They know your code. They know what they're doing. Let them come in and show them the tools and just say, hey, listen, this is a job now, and this is what we need you to do. It could work. It could work, in my opinion. I say hire a couple guys from the community, pay them. They love it. Why not let them get paid for their passion? Just putting it out there. Let me get to some more comments here real quick. But that and 2K19 is still being played to this day. To this day. Rob said I got 2K20 for free and it's still in the packaging. Damn, Rob. 2.5D 2K sucked after 13. I liked 14, bro. I hope you mean the year 2013. I like 2K14 compared to 2K20. 2K19 is great. No, 2K19 was still a pretty game. We are still missing physics, hit detection, and so much more that I talked about. Okay, Obi-Wan. Not a huge Fire Pro guy, but I hear it's highly customizable and has custom themes. They do. They have some of the things that I read off before that the community wanted. And that game, I believe, came out in 2018, I want to say. And they just kept adding things to it. It's now done, but I like the fact that they were updating it often. Ace says 2K19 is the better game. Not asking for comparisons, though, guys. I want to know, is 19 a classic, or is it a classic due to circumstance? That's basically what I'm asking. Like, it's very, very weird and different, you know, how everything just worked out with it. And I thought it was interesting. So, where are we at now with everything? So 2K, after 2K20, they decided, you know what? Let's take some time off. We got to fix this game up. We got to make things better. Okay, cool. So we're not getting a game for another year. We're going to play 19. We're going to play Fire Pro. Action Arcade came out with a wrestling game. That name got switched from the original title name too. Won't get into all of that, but we had other wrestling games being made. Then we started to get different announcements, and I don't know which one came first, but I'm where the little 2K22 is up in the top corner there. We're going to switch it up a little bit. We first had a game called The Wrestling Code, and I believe they were announcing things first. They had independent wrestlers being signed up left and right from Impact Wrestling, from your local indies. They had people everywhere, and they were asking people, who do you want to see in this game? We started seeing ECW legends get signed. Just incredible. Rob Van Dam. The names could go on and on and on. The Wrestling Code is doing the damn thing, and I love it. And this looks like it's going to be a really fun game. You don't think 2K is not listening to this? You don't think their ears perked up like, yo, what's going on? They knew it was time to step it up. And then the even bigger competitor that I've got up here, AEW Games, started to come out with stuff. When it was just Virtual Basement and the Wrestling Code, not a worry in the world. They were probably like, okay, they're signing a few people. Cool. But then when AEW Games dropped the trailer, I thought it was dope. It was perfect. It gave you those No Mercy vibes that people wanted. It brought the heat that we needed back into the video game world. So now this is another big company that's been already trying to compete with you as far as signing wrestlers, doing different things. Hell, they're about to go head to head on Friday for a half hour. And I'm not promoting it. I'm not saying like, oh, you should watch this or that. I just want great games. And I think that competition is best for business. And these guys are ready to bring it. They are ready to bring it. And I love it. Tony Khan invested money into his AEW Games franchise. The Wrestling Code is independent, but they have the heart, the passion. And from what I'm hearing from what both of these games want to do, they've got some claims. They think they can do a better game. And it's just damn. It's just damn. They got competition. And we've always said, as Sick knows, he's part of the XGW crew. When we get into this video game stuff and we start talking about it, I think WWE Games has always performed better when they've had competition. When that TNA Impact Wrestling game was coming out, what do you know? They put a lot of stuff in the game and we got better. from SVR 2010, SVR 2011. They put some good stuff in there. They stepped their game up. I like it. And we have a lot of things happening. This has gotten people to sign deals. So many things have changed since then, and it's for the better. I think it's for the better. So what happens after all of that? We get the competition. You already had different games being made. AEW Games, it's another major pro wrestling game. Independent wrestling for virtual basement seems like the thing, but they're going to have all the modes and allow you to customize because that's what the people want. Ultra violence wrestling. Got to give a shout out to Gakdaw. Like he's out there making a game as well. And I became familiar with him just listening to other people having him on the podcast talking about the ultra violence wrestling game. He's making one for the guys who are in CZW, GCW. If you're into that type of wrestling, there's a game coming out for that. I can't show any footage because it gets raw a little bit. So that's all I'm going to say. So good stuff. And I also mentioned Fire Pro Action Arcade Wrestling. You have options that we're trying to hold over, but the wrestling video game fans have been in a frenzy, and they've been in a frenzy for far, far, far too long. You know, and I get it. It pisses people off. It pisses me off that we have to sit up here and we're playing these games and we have to wait. But patience is a virtue. I keep telling people that, and I think it's very key when it comes to this. So recently, we'll get into some of the recent, like the 2K news and everything else, and we'll talk about that, and then we'll try to end this a little bit because I want to try to do more of these videos. And if you guys like that, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. We're about 7 or so subscribers away from the 1.5K. I need that. I need it bad. So tell people to subscribe to Everything Pro Wrestling. We're going to talk about all of this stuff. I want to read some more comments real quick in here because I did ask about it. And Ace is the first one to say, or excuse me, Six said, "Here Comes the Pain is a classic. 2K19 is not a classic." Okay. All right. Honesty is key. It is key. Let's see here. E says it's a classic. 2K19 is not a classic. They took time and optimized what they had. Six says AEW is going to be the wrestling game to get based off roster alone. The pics of the wrestling code models is fire. Yes. No, 2K19 is not a classic. We still play it because it's a result of what happened in the past year and a half. Minoru Suzuki versus Bryan. People are yelling about, yes, that's going to be good. Six said XGW original Bebe. For those of you who don't know, I keep mentioning XGW, but we do have some new people sometimes. XGW was an eFed that we used to run. It was actually at one point the most popular eFed for PlayStation users. So, yes, and Sick, former world heavyweight champion in the league, did a good job crushing people. AEW's got an all-star team on their game, and I don't mean the dude from Smash Mouth. Come on, bro. Smash Mouth. That's an old school reference right there. I got that. Von Wagner putting lotion in the basket. Y'all leave my man Von Wagner alone. He's trying to make it out here. All I know is it's been a while since I've had my wrestling game itch scratch, so I know when it's time to scratch that itch, it's going to feel so good. Like Tony. Yes. All right, so what's been going on recently with a lot of the video games? And like people had mentioned, we have some different signings and things like that, including with some of the other games. We recently had the AEW games, Owen Hart to AEW, really cool. I was really happy about that. And when it comes to what we've been shown, let's get back to it. So at WrestleMania, we had a video shown with Rey Mysterio. It's playing on the screen right now. We got a little 30-second clip teasing us of what was to come for this video game. And looks cool. A lot of the moves seem the same, but, you know, we finally got to see everything looks great scanned. The wrestlers look great. They always do. We were hoping for updated things, but fans were just being kind of let back slowly at that point. And they're telling us WWE 2K22, it hits different. Our answer was, does it? Show me something. I got to see something. And They went quiet for a little bit. They really didn't say too much, and it got weird. So then SummerSlam comes around. We got an announcement. We got something to say. Okay, what do you got for us? Tell me something. Well, we get a trailer now that I'm showing on the screen. And the trailer has Ricochet and Rey Mysterio's back in it again. Bailey, Carmella. You're seeing all of these. But the first thing you start to notice is things are looking a little outdated. Nakamura's attire being number one. Roman Reigns head of the table shirt. Kane's wearing two different attires. Shit looks like it's a mess a little bit. Not going to lie. New Day rocking some old attires. Lashley, Drew's got the sword though, and we saw that. You saw how fast they flashed that March of 2022. I'm gonna put that back up again. Watch how fast that March of 2022 shows up. They didn't want us talking about that shit at all. So you showed us something at WrestleMania, and you mean to tell me we were gonna wait an entire year for all of this? What are we doing? And this is where I feel like we kind of have to have that discussion. That discussion of who is right and who is wrong. Who is to blame for a lot of this? Now, look, I've been told 2K has put down their shit. They have said, listen, bro, the cards are down. If you guys want a good game, this is what's going to happen. And if from a business perspective, hold on, getting a drink of water. From a business perspective, what WWE wants in their games is simple. They want to make money from their games. Vince McMahon doesn't play video games. Bruce Pritchard doesn't play video games. I bet half of the people that sit in the corporate office don't play video games like that. Just a guess. And they want money. Well, what's the way to make money in all sports games right now? You release a title every year, and then we make money from it. That's what they do. They put out DLC. They get you for $90 to $100, and they put it out. Disaster number one. The whole PlayStation 5, Xbox, you can't get your hands on these new systems because there's a chip shortage due to the pandemic. I get it. That's number one. Was this game even going to be on next-gen systems? At this point, I'm like, it has to be. It has to be because of this delay. If you tell me you can't put that on, if you can't put them on the new systems, what are we doing here? It has to happen. It has to happen. So we find out, okay, cool. We've got the game getting ready to come out. Next-gen systems is the first problem. Then WWE went and released a bunch of people. And when I say released, they went on a war path. They were taking out so many people that I was like, yo, these people, they're just letting people go. And it would be big clumps every couple weeks. Like it was like, oh, clump one, next, clump two, next. And they're on this new path to they got rid of names of people who I thought were great. And we're going to get back to this, I promise you. They got rid of a bunch of those guys. All right. You did what you had to do. I get it. Whatever. It's not my company. They told them all it was for budgetary reasons. Bullshit. But it's just not right what happened to some of them. I get it. But you doing that hurts your video game. Vince McMahon is known. Once in a while, you'll sneak a guy in, like Rob Van Dam worked for TNA, and he got in on the SmackDown vs. Raw 2011 game right before he signed into TNA. That happens from time to time. That is what I call a wishing star in the wrestling video game world. Now, it doesn't work that way, bro. It doesn't work that way at all. It's just sad, man. It's just sad because everybody was like, oh, they're going to keep in... I'm trying to think. Some people were released. Maybe they'll keep in... I'm trying to think of who's a big name that was gone. Maybe they'll keep in the Iconics. No, bro. They're not going to keep them in. These guys are already looking for employment elsewhere after this. The wrestling market is thriving right now, and they're gone. People like Paul White, they're gone. They went to AEW. Owen Hart, he had his Dark Side of the Ring special. Martha Hart said she was willing to work with companies, just not WWE, because of what happened with his situation. Owen Hart's in the AEW game. Six said it before. The roster alone is doing this for the AEW games, and they are delivering, bro. They're delivering. I can't say anything else. They lost a lot of top talent over Christians in AEW. Christian Cage went over to AEW because they didn't want to use him. Edge was going to go to AEW. Most people don't even know this. He was going to go to AEW, and then all of a sudden, WWE cleared him. Funny how that happened. They lose Bryan Danielson. He is now in AEW as well. Daniel Bryan was a big part of 2K20. He was the showcase mode. How did this happen? How did this happen? Punk was in 2K15 still. You could not remove him from the game, and WWE didn't want to pay him his royalties from it. Like, bro, this whole ordeal is crazy. Everything that happened with it, crazy. And I'm just talking about one of the video games that's coming out. One. I didn't mention all the great people in the Wrestling Code or Ultra Violence. It's insane to me. So whose fault is it? A lot of people say, who are you going to place the blame on? Both of them. That's my answer. Both of them. You have to put the blame on 2K in respects to this. You've had since 2014 to get your shit in check, bro. You had 15. Okay, granted, I know, new game, new system, your first game on PlayStation 4. Pump the brakes, see? I get it. But what happened with 16, 17, and 18? You had plenty of time to get this right. I'm one of the foolish people who thought they would. I appreciated 2K. I love the basketball games. I'm like, there's no way they could screw this up. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, was I wrong. They screwed this up bad. Real bad. I was hurt, man. I was hurt by all of this. And damn it, if it just didn't sit right with me, it just didn't sit right. But WWE Games is to blame as well. I know I'm going through all of this super quick, but 2K had some employees that weren't doing what they were supposed to do. From community managers, yeah, I said it, called out. You weren't doing everything right, and maybe that's partially on WWE too, because they have their strict stuff. But bro, you're in the position, you're taking the heat. And they set you up for failure then. And I don't blame some of the people for leaving after that. They had people going on videos for 2K20 saying it was a good game and can't wait for you guys to play it. You shouldn't have even said that. You should have scrapped that before you even put it out for the cash grab. Sorry to say, it's a fact. It's over, it's done with, right? WWE is also to blame though. WWE has this stupid process of getting things and, oh, I need to approve this. I have to approve the attire. So-and-so can't look bad on the back of the box. We can't have this being done. We can't have that being done. What in the hell are you guys doing today? What is going on with this? You released a bunch of people. They're making your game. You waited until they were going to release this game. Waited. Bro, once again, go back and look at this. I'm putting the trailer back up for 2K22. Look at this. What in the hell were they going to do? These are the people that they were like, I think they're safe. Bailey was injured at the time. You know what I mean? Like, these guys have no clue who could be released. They basically gave you the feeling Braun Strowman got released. Nobody's safe, bro. He was a top guy. He was just in the main event of a pay-per-view, and they released him. They don't give a damn about some of the people and what they have to do for all of this. They just didn't care. I'm sorry. It's a fact. They didn't care, and that's on WWE. You set the game back, not 2K. You screwed them up because they were going to have one of the most outdated games, and they asked for supposedly an extension till next year's WrestleMania, March of 2022. Hopefully they didn't see that. You know what I mean? Like, ridiculous. And I want to read some of these comments here before I get too deep into me not being able to see them. Let me start here with E, because he had put up one before. If it had Sanders, Keel, and the designers from Day of Reckoning and Wrestle Kingdom that worked on No Mercy, it would be the dream team in my opinion. Six said I was the Kenny Omega of XGW. Yes, he was the belt collector at one point. No Mercy and Virtual Pro Wrestling 2. Those are classics, bro. Saw some Owen shirts at the AEW Grand Slam. People proud to finally celebrate him. That's dope, man. Yeah, I got an Owen shirt too. Love it. You better watch it, sir. WWE blocked my thoughts on 2K22. I don't give a shit. Block it. I'm just stating my opinion. That shit irritated me, no lie. Here's the game. See you fuckers in almost a year before the release. Middle finger. Yeah. Oof, that hair was bad. Johnny Ace and ironically, HH don't play the games. Yeah, I'm. Does anyone believe they do Triple H? That was supposed to be. CM Punk was in 2K15 after leaving WWE. I know he was. I 100% know he was. They were trying to remove him though, but they couldn't because he was so intertwined into one of the main modes that they couldn't. WWE 2K22 is going to be a sad burner. They got to deliver. And I'll get to that at the end of this. By the time the WWE game drops, all the people they release will be signed to different companies, so none of the wrestlers they release will be in the game. But what I'm most excited about with the AEW game is that most people aren't talking about the open door thing. We don't know what wrestler from what promotion will be in the game. AEW pre-order bonus is going to be crazy. I hope so. Those who want wacky, goofy shit, well, you got it. Yeah, ASAP Bailey didn't get drafted. Yeah, unfortunately, she's still injured. I'm sure she'll be a surprise, and they'll put her where they need her. She's one of the pillars of that women's division, in my opinion. Let's get into some of the recent things. We've been teased. Is GM mode back? Yes, I believe so. They had Brandon Does Everything. He got on Twitter and mentioned something about GM mode, and WWE gave the thinking emoji a little bit. And then WWE 2K Dev gave the thinking emoji. They have to give it to us at this point. Like, it's not going to surprise me once they say, like, oh, GM mode is back. I want to see what the mode can do, but I'm pretty sure we're going to get that. Then we also recently got DLC being ruined by releases. Yes. Those releases I mentioned before, Bronson, Reed, I guess there were more than just him, but they ruined DLC packs that were going to come out for the game. I believe it. Why wouldn't it? Water break. Why wouldn't it? And Bronson Reed was someone who I thought they had really, really big potential for. Sucks, man. Sucks how everything just panned out with those releases and what they did. It really caused a headache, I think, for 2K. And I hope they have enough time to update the arenas and things like that. And let me see. WWE didn't want CM Punk on the cover of 13. Yeah, I heard Punk say that, and they wanted Sheamus on there instead, but someone fought for him. I believe it was Bryce or somebody. I can't remember who the name was, but I remember hearing from someone that Bryce was the person who fought for him. And New Japan DLC would be dope. Impact would be okay. Great DLC in the AEW game. Listen, let's talk a little bit more about that whole what they can do thing, because we basically said it. WWE and 2K are both to blame for this. WWE Games, they've got the series in a bad way, and this game has to succeed, because I feel like WWE may pull out of the deal. They've already threatened them supposedly with like, hey, we'll find someone else to make this game. Do y'all want EA making another game? Do people not remember Backstage Assault? EA at one point made a wrestling game with no wrestling ring. You don't ever do something like that. Come on, bro. And you made one before that with a ring. What were they thinking? I was hurt, bro. I was hurt by that. So, not only that, but I think this is the perfect time too. I think there's two different mindsets. Remember what I said? WWE, we want our money, we want our money, we want our money, right? I think personally 2K is trying to see things that the way of the future is going to be. AEW Games and Virtual Basement, the wrestling code, have already mentioned they want live streaming, like live DLC, basically, to where we can put out a wrestler whenever we need to. You guys grab them, Let's do it. We want connected servers. We're looking into that. If you're a PC player, you should be able to download stuff from a guy from Xbox. You're using the exact same game. Why not just have the cross-platform? I think more people are wanting this, and it makes sense. It makes sense. And I think this is something that WWE needs to look into. Your little PC modders, if they can put up the stuff on their community creations, let it rock over here. Let the call creators do the thing. Most of the great call creators use the computer to make all this stuff. Why not let them upload on it? Let it happen. There's a lot of things that I think they can fix or look into fixing, right? But it all depends. It all depends on how things are going to work, how things are going to be. And they cannot afford another bad wrestling game because 2K may lose one of their money makers. They thought this was going to be a cash cow, and we were just going to keep buying the game that they put out. You're in a bad place now. There's a lot of eyes watching you, from fans to video game critics, I'll say. There's a lot of people watching you, and you have to deliver. Do I want them to fail? Hell no. Absolutely not. There are people who bust their ass that work at 2K, and I know that. And there's people who bust their ass at WWE as well. I don't want to see this company fail, but I do want them to do better. And there's nothing wrong with wanting that. Be better. Be better. You know that other people are bringing the heat. You gave away a lot of your goods. WWE had the best roster for a while, for the last few years. They had a great roster, and they still have a damn good roster, but they gave away some great pieces, some future pieces. Sick brings it up right here. Bronson Reed could have been a star. They'll regret losing him. It's just what I said about Ty Conti. The lady's killing it at AEW at the moment. It's a fact. So 2K, put your best foot forward, and I want WWE and 2K to think about the long term, and I think fans need to think about the long term too. And I've heard some people. I got into an argument with somebody the one day that was like, "Oh, here you go suggesting DLC," and I'm like, "Bro, you're acting stupid. Like, they're not going to put it out there already. DLC is going to be in these games. They're not doing live service updates for people for free for changes of attire and all that stuff. You're not getting that shit for free. You're going to pay for it. Games are $70 a pop now. I'm sorry to tell you that, but it's just what it is, bro. So they're going to have to bring it if they want it. If you want the updates, you're going to have to pay the $30. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no way around it. You got to do what you got to do. All right. Let's see here. Obi-Wan said, hell no, I don't want EA making a wrestling game. WTF. And if you guys got any questions or anything you want to talk about real quick before I leave, throw it in the chat section now, and I'll try to end this video in a few minutes here. So give me 1 second. And shout out to everybody listening on the audio version of the podcast as well. I appreciate you guys. Trying to get the listenership up, and we can get a few more sponsors. I've been talking to some people, so help a brother out. Make sure you listen to the audio versions as well all the way through. And on Spotify, there's new polls that I could put up on there, so check those out too. Let's see here. Hell no to EA. The only good wrestling games they published were Def Jam games developed by AKI. Yeah. Tokyo said, don't want EA to touch another wrestling game. Six said, from fans to video game critics to other wrestling promotions and game devs, all are watching WWE. You said it better than me, bro. Said it better than me. When are you going to show them AEW trailers, bro? I actually have them on deck if you really wanted to see them. I don't have any of the new ones. I have the ones that we've all seen already with Jungle Boy, Darby Allin, but I have saved them if you want me to pop them in. But I'm saving that for just background footage for when we talk. These are going to continue, guys. I really want to do something with some peeps from Virtual Basement. I've been talking to one person for a while now. We were supposed to have a video, I think a year or two ago now at this point. Like, damn, time has flown. And we were supposed to do one together. AEW Games, I would really, really love to have Brian on and talk about the game again. You guys got to tweet out there and just say AEW Games when the time is right. We want to hear from Brian Williams too, not just Kenny Omega. I would love to hear the wrestler and the game developers at the same time. And Brian Williams always gets my vote. Definitely one of the best, man. Like making these games, he's he's worth the money you pay him, probably more. Really good dude though. Like, he is the ultimate. Follow him on Twitter at TrueBWill. He is the ultimate like dude in the wrestling video game world. He's very humble. He doesn't like when you say that usually, or he'll laugh, but the brother deserves it, man. He's really good at getting stuff in the games that we need. Sig said, do you think WWE 2K22 is even going to be worth getting it when it drops? Sig, that's going to depend on the info we get and what they're willing to tell the community. You need to get people out there and get their feedback on it. But like I said, if they do that live service model, Sig, you can fix things. You can say, oh, we're going to edit GMO. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Have a dedicated team to just working on that game, and then they can jump in later once you're ready to cut it off and do that. I think WWE's so damn greedy, though, that they're going to say, no, just make another game next year, because they're so used to having that money in their hand. And it's like, bro, you're missing the long term. Sure, we're going to lose $20 on each game maybe or something like that. But if we keep updating this, people will get obsessed with the game, and then we can get the feedback from them. What do you want in the next one? Oh, y'all should put this and you should put that in. Cool. And then they get the next game and you do the same thing again, and you're guaranteeing yourself more money, and you'll have it in the short run. It's just a different way of getting the money, in my opinion. And I think the sports games world need that right now at this point. There's no point in hiding it or playing it. Malik Murray says, I hope they make a new DLC with 2K22. Better have my boy Carmelo Hayes, new North American champion. And I would like to see him in as well, Malik. That's a great ask. Also, let's be real. If you could only afford to get one wrestling game, which one would it be based off what you know so far? Oh, man, that's really tough, Sig. Well, you know what it's not. No, I think I'm leaning towards AEW Games so far just because of the team that's working on it. I love the Virtual Basement game as well, though. Virtual Basement's got a lot to offer. Like, if everything comes true that I've heard, like all the match types and what they want to do, that might be the game. That might. There's still time to sway me, but right now, knowing what I know and what I think, I'm going to lean towards AEW Games right now. But we don't know what their modes are going to be either. They've been real vague about what the modes are going to be and what match types we'll see. And I would like to do a video on some of that stuff too eventually. E is in here talking. Aubrey was on Dank's podcast. She's working on Elite GM. She ain't working on the console joint. Yeah, I figured she wasn't. EA is mad greedy. 2K even put on disc moves behind paywall and loot boxes. Yeah, I mean, it's the video game world, man. They want to make money. Nope, draw me money. New gears, venues, and wrestlers, no problem. Yeah, I would too, bro. If it's worth it, you know. Make the game live service, and if they want their bottom line, release the new wrestlers and attires and gimmicks via season packs. Bro, bravo. Six said it best right there. Give us season packs, and people will pay for it. Let's just say the AEW game can't have it. Imagine, okay, your next pack, you're going to get CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, Adam Cole. Bro, people are going to be like, yo, how much is it? $20, $15, $10? I got you right now. You know, and what else am I getting with it? You give people the new arenas, new attires, fire. And some of it you can make for free too, just to help out the game. Like, listen, we didn't forget about people who don't got the bread. Boom. And have sales on the packs. It's a smart move, like Six said. He said, I'm going to support the independent joints, but if I had to buy one of the $70 ones, it's going to be AEW. They got the No Mercy director and Bri Wills. Ricemania, what's good, man? Thank you for coming in here. Hey, guys, we got a Twitch too, man. Show some love. EPW show on Twitch. Would you like to see 2K Originals return in 2K22? Hell no. To the no. No, I don't. I was not a fan of the 2K Originals, sir. I would like to see a Road to WrestleMania type of mode return, along with the GMO, which I believe we're going to get. I've stamped my approval on it tonight. But I really think that you could see that Road to WrestleMania type of mode return. I don't know if it's going to be exactly that, but Justin Leeper had a hit on his hands, and a lot of people want that back. I would suggest hiring him, somebody, but you got a hit right there. Name it Summer of Punk Pack. Yeah. Second thought, they might get sued for that. I don't think they own that name. They don't own that name. AEW is a first in series, might be light on features, but that gameplay is going to be tight. But you could always add to it if you have the live service. Live service changes it up. That makes people say, you know what? I might get this if you're going to hook it up and fix it. Here's the key to it. With all of these games, you cannot release the game shittily. You cannot release it where it sucks. And then we're like, dude, when are we getting this? Because it's just going to lead to bad news. You know what I mean? Don't give me Showcase or I'll riot. I agree. Rice laughed. I appreciate it. True. Can we get voiceover promos? They might do that. I think they will for the 2K game. I wish more developers took the CD Projekt Red approach with DLC. They make sure a game is complete before release besides Cyberpunk, the console version. Jeez Louise. That disaster, right? Yeah, for sure. But listen, guys, we're going to get ready to get on out of here. We're going to do the outro. And I appreciate everybody who came in to visit. If you guys like this stuff, I want you to come back into the video, please, and write in the comment section more videos like this, please. If you have ideas on videos you want to see, like I said, I want to kind of do a wish list video for AEW games, and I got to probably do that sooner than later because we don't know when that's going to get released. I would like to do something like that. So if you guys have ideas, please put it out there. Rob said never charge for DLC. GG on that. Good luck. I think a lot of people are gonna that's in the video game world are like, nah, we got to do that, unfortunately, and it's probably not their choice either. But yeah, if you got ideas for the AEW game, Virtual Basement, hell, even WWE 2K22, I think with them the shit's laid out. It's like a beef. The shit's laid out. It's either you're gonna do it or you're not. You're gonna lose people or you're gonna gain people's trust back. That's where 2K is at this point. You know what I mean? We've got the dope graphics. It looks good, but how does it play? That's the last question I'm going to ask. Thank you guys so much for checking us out here tonight. We appreciate you for everything pro wrestling. We are out. Peace.